Greetings, everyone. So I'm live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining me on the planet. My name is June Allen, and I am the founder of the Art of Greatness at juneallen.net. So today's topic is all about what to do if you're stuck in negative thinking. Okay, what to do if you're stuck in negative thinking. Somebody kind of shared this question with me the other day, and I thought, you know what? What do I do when I'm stuck in negative thinking? What do I advise my clients to do when they're stuck in negative thinking? So I thought that I would share it with you all. So before I get into it, I'm just going to share a little bit of information about, for those of you that don't know who I am. So I'm a mum, I'm an entrepreneur. I am also a student therapist in training. I've got one more year to go. Yay, nearly finished. I'm just about to enter into my final year, which I'm very, very happy about. And I absolutely love what I do. I started my own healing journey back in 2009. I went into 12-step recovery, had an amazing experience, learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about healing, learned a lot about so many different things. But what was missing was the cultural context. I didn't understand what that meant as a black woman to be doing this work. How does the fact that we're still living under the system of racism impact how I my healing process? What does that look like? And how do I actually articulate that? And as a result of asking myself those questions, I became totally obsessed with trying to figure out how to do that. What does that mean? What did it look like? All of that good stuff. And the light bulb just started going off. I really started to understand the importance of doing the racial wellness work in parallel to all the other stuff that I was doing. And I enmeshed the two, I incorporated the two. And I noticed that when I did that, I started feeling more confident. There's a lot of shifts that started happening for me. I was able to really understand a lot more about my own behavior. And so, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start training as a therapist, because I really wanted to also share and do service within the community with all the stuff that I'm learning. So, started training as a therapist, and also started sharing my journey and what I'm learning a lot more publicly as well. And a lot of people resonated with it, and so they started to engage more, ask me questions, wanted me to work with them, all of that good stuff. And so I love what I do because it means that I get the opportunity to pass on all of the jewels and the gems and the tools and stuff that I've learned over the years of not just doing my own work, but then also training as a therapist and empowering others. So I'm very excited about that, about how the journey continues, and looking forward to finishing my official therapy training next year. So that's a little bit about me, if you don't know anything about me or my work. So just also wanted to share a couple of bits of I have a couple of bits of housekeeping to share with you. So first and foremost, if you're a wounded daughter, a wounded black daughter, and you're looking for some tools, some books, some affirmations about how to either start your journey or just to empower the journey that you're already on, I have a free PDF which has got 10 great books on healing the mother wound, with some affirmations and some reflections and writings and stuff like that I've done about it over the years. I've collated it into one PDF, which is available to you absolutely free. So if you head over to my website or click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. You can sign up and get that absolutely free. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is that I've been working with a really small, intimate group of women this year, and it really has been transformational. It's been an absolute honor to be working with these women, to see how much they've grown, to see them get vulnerable, to see them let go of things in their past, to see them speak up and talk about things that they've kept silent and held on to things for so long. And because the space is so intimate and boundaried and it feels safe for them, they're going through a really beautiful healing process of becoming themselves, and really unpacking all of the toxic stuff that's happened to them over the years since childhood. And it's made it difficult for them to show up, difficult for them to embrace their confidence, and difficult for them to embrace their identity, to understand what their needs are. It's been a really beautiful experience working with these women. And, so what I'm going to be doing from next year, from January, is I'm going to be starting a second cohort for women to be able to come and work with me over a period of a year, and to work through this course material with me. And I'm letting you know now, so that you can sign up. And if you're interested in doing that, you can click the link in my bio again, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. And you can sign up for the wait list. And obviously when the spots become available, then obviously you will get first, you'll be contacted first from showing your interest. So yeah, if you're really ready to do the work, if you're fed up with kind of faffing about and humming and hawing about what to do or whatever, this course is not for the faint-hearted. Working with me is not for the faint-hearted. It's definitely not a magic wand. But what I can tell you is that you will be held, you will be supported, you will feel seen, you will get more confidence. And you will really have an opportunity to unpack a lot of the stuff that you've been held on for such a long time, because you've never really found a safe space to be able to do that. And yeah, it's not just the work that I share with you that's powerful, but also it's being in a group with other women that are also doing this work that has been absolutely magical, working with the women that I'm working with now. And so if you're interested in that, please click the link in my bio and sign up for the wait list when that becomes available. So I'm really excited about doing that. Okay, so that's the housekeeping out of the way. So for those of you that have just joined, my name is June Allen, and I'm the founder of the Garden of Greatness at juneallen.net. So today's topic is all about, I'm going to share some things with you about what you can do if you're stuck in negative thinking. Okay, what do you do if you're stuck in negative thinking? So the first thing that you can do is you need to pause, okay? Pause and ask yourself the question. If you're already starting doing your healing work, sometimes there will be times where you may feel overwhelmed, you may feel hopeless, you might feel like, oh my God, this stuff is not working because I'm really feeling overwhelmed by the emotion, by feeling bad about myself, and just not really understanding what's happening. Why am I feeling like this when I'm doing this work and I feel like I'm taking 10 steps back or whatever it is? And sometimes it's important to think about, okay, am I doing too much as part of my wellness process? Do I need a slower pace? Do I need to slow down a little bit? Do I need to take smaller steps? I know for me, I've had periods in my wellness process that I tell myself that, if I take on more, if I'm more vulnerable, if I really kind of take the gloves off and try and do it quickly or try and do it more intensely, that somehow it's going to be like ripping a plaster off. Ripping a band-aid off really quickly, and it will hurt for a bit and then it will go away. That's not how the healing process works. And actually that might actually cause you more stress. It's important to take your time with what you're doing. It's important to take your time and listen to your body, listen to what's going on for you. And if you're really stuck in that negative thinking, if your inner critic is just really going hell for leather and really hammering it out because you're telling yourself so many negative things about what you're doing, it's time to really take a pause. It's time to really take a pause. And when you pause, it gives yourself an opportunity to think about, okay, well, how much of this negative thinking is real? And whose voice is it? It might not even be your voice. It might be a parent. It could be a teacher. It could be, another family member. It could be somebody in your friend circle who doesn't necessarily want you to succeed. Okay? So the first thing, really, really important, is to really pause from the processing and really just get present to yourself. One of the things that I empower the women in my group to do is to set up a daily process where you have sacred sister time. Whether it's 30 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever it is, whatever time you have, okay, that's you dedicate some time to checking in with yourself every single day. So your sacred sister time can be used as a time to pause. If you can do more than that, great. But it's giving yourself permission to actually take a step back and reflect on exactly what's going on in terms of the negative thinking is what's going to help you to move forward. Okay, so that's number one. All right, hi, thanks for joining. That's number one. Okay, you need to pause to have a look at what's going on in terms of the process. Okay, are you doing it? Are you doing too much? All right, so number two in dealing with your negative thinking is to review how far you've come already. Okay, review how far you've come already. Something that quite often happens, and I know I'm guilty of this, is I'm so quick to move on to the next thing. What is the next issue that I want to deal with, that I want to get in, I want it resolved. I want it, and sometimes we forget to look back and see how much stuff we've done already. I mean, when I think about the woman that I was before I started doing this work, I was in a relationship that was very dysfunctional. It was painful. Um, it was very dysfunctional, and I know now there are so many decisions that I make now that I just would not have made then. And that's because of the progress that I've made. That's because of the decisions that I've made. That's because I've taken the time to unpack, and I've taken the time to get vulnerable. I've invested time, I've invested money in going to therapy. I've invested more time in going to the recovery meetings. I've invested time writing in my journal, unpacking stuff, being willing to get vulnerable and talk about things, and having the courage to talk about things that I don't really want to talk about. I've had the courage to look things straight in the face and go, do you know what? This is going to be painful for me to look at, but I need to look at it because I want things to change. Things are not going to change if I'm not willing to look at it. There is no magic wand with doing this work. There is no magic wand. And so, being able to look back at how far I've come, and to be able to go, wow, thank God I'm not that woman anymore. That's really powerful. And that is going to shift. That is going to shift the negative thinking. Because if I can change my life, if I can change who I am as a person, if I can nurture myself, if I can empower myself, okay, through all of those things, all of those choices that I've made, okay, all of those choices that I've made over the years, then I can keep doing that. And things will continue to change and be better for me as I move forward. So it's really, really important to do that. It's really, really important to do that, because, you can't just always be thinking about, because then what happens is, if you don't pause and think about how far you've come, you're always going to be in that negative mindset, thinking, oh, there's always something wrong with me. There's always something wrong with me. There's always something that needs to be fixed. And that in of itself is kind of a recipe for it's a recipe for this ongoing negative thinking, and for depression as well, actually. Of course you're going to get depressed and feel bad about yourself and feel ashamed of yourself if you always think that there's something that needs to be fixed. At the end of the day, it's about remembering that you're a human being. You're a human being. Yes, we live under the system of racism. Yes, there's probably stuff going on in your family that's stressing you out, and making you feel a certain type of way. But at the end of the day, it's about really remembering that, you know what, there are some things that you have, that you can do, there are choices that you can make, and you can choose to review how far you've come. You can choose to pause and nurture yourself. You can choose to find a support group, or find a really great therapist and start doing this work. These are the things that are in your control. The negative thinking often happens when we keep thinking about the things that are beyond our control. We can't change other people. You can't change other people. So it's really, really important for you to really take the focus off what's going on externally and focus on what's going on internally. So Yashin is saying we cannot allow ourselves to be stuck in our heads. Yes, yes, yes to everything you said. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I understand, that's not to minimize the pain of negative thinking, because I understand why, we can get stuck in that sometimes. And sometimes there is a place for that. There's a place where, sometimes things do get shit. Let's be clear about that. Sometimes things do get shit. But it's about, okay, are you going to stay in that place of feeling like that? Or remembering that, there are some things that you have choice over. There are some things that you have choice over. And when you stay in that place of, wanting the external part of your life, the things that you can't change, if you're waiting on something external to change, you're always going to feel bad about yourself. Because then you're handing over your power, you're relying on somebody else to change you, whether it's, people that practice, white terrorism, or whether it's that family member that's been rude to you, that, you're waiting for an apology from them, or you're waiting for an apology from a parent for treating you a certain type of way as a child. If you're always waiting on other people, you're always going to be in that state of negative thinking, because you just can't control that. So it really is about focusing on what you can change. Okay, so that's number 2. Okay, review how far you've come and stay in your lane. All right, stay in your lane about what you can control. Number 3 is to get out in nature. Okay, I know this is a really, really simple one, a really, really easy one. And sometimes it's easy to say, oh yeah, I know that one, but are you actually doing it? Okay, are you actually doing it? Are you actually getting out in nature? So there's 2 things that are powerful about getting out in nature. Number 1, there's something about being out amongst the trees, being out amongst in the sun. If it is sunny, the sun is kind of, it's a bit hit and miss in the UK at the moment with the sunshine. But when the sun is out, there's just something quite, for me, there's something quite beautiful that happens when I get out in the sun and the sun just hits my melanin and just, it's like my higher power kissing me. It's like being kissed by God, or goddess, when I go out in the sun. So there's that, just being out in nature, just getting some fresh air, allowing you to self to connect with the trees and the bushes and the grass, and take your shoes off and walk bare feet on the grass. There's something about doing that's just very, very grounding. Okay, it's very, very grounding, and it really does give you an opportunity just to think, reflect, and allow your higher power, the God in nature, to kind of help to reset your thinking. There's something very simple and quite basic about that. But this is the thing about when you're stuck in negative thinking. One of the crux things that I always do is just go back to basics. Go back to basics. Okay, are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating? Are you connecting with people? All of these. Are you making sure that you get up and have a shower? Because sometimes when you get stuck in that negative thinking, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to do nothing. You just want to shut down. You want to get into into the cave of negative thinking, and it's really hard to get out of that sometimes. So I always encourage people that are in that state to go back to basics, right, and really think about that. Really think about, what are the basic things that I need to do that can help me, get out of this funk, and just to really just keep it simple and to start there, use that as a starting place. So getting out in nature and being amongst the trees and the grass and all of that kind of stuff is a really simple place to start. The other good thing about going out in nature is that, if you're walking out in the park or wherever, movement, you're moving. And a simple exercise like walking is a very powerful way to start to move your body and to start to shift energy. When you're feeling negative, it might be that you're feeling fear, it might be that you're feeling shame, it might be that you're feeling anger, sadness, depression, whatever it is that you're feeling at that moment in time. A lot of times this energy that sometimes gets stuck. A lot of times it's energy that can often get stuck. So giving yourself permission to go out in nature, going for a long walk, is a really powerful way is of shifting that energy. It's a very powerful way of shifting that energy. One of the things that it just reminded me of, my daughter, she's 13. So, her hormones are kind of all over the place, and especially when she's due to have her period and all of that kind of stuff. I recently gave her I got like a mini trampoline that I've put in her room now. I used to have it in my room, I put it in her room now. And I just say, if you're feeling rubbish, or if you're feeling hormonal or whatever it is, just go and jump on the trampoline for a few minutes, and it will really lift your mood, because again, you're shifting energy. And quite as soon as she gets on the trampoline and starts jumping, her face lights up and she just starts smiling. So just something as simple as that is creating some sort of movement is a really great way to start to shift the energy and start to shift your mindset, your mind state. All right, so think about ways that you can do simple movement. It might be that you're doing yoga at home. There are loads of videos online where you can do yoga at home, simple yoga movements at home, as I said, or going out in nature or whatever it is. But it's finding some sort of way to reconnect to yourself and reconnect to your body, and being out in nature is a great way to do that. All right, so that's number 3, get out in nature. Number 4, okay, this is about setting boundaries. Okay, are there people, places, or things that are feeding this negative mindset? Okay, are there people, places, or things that are feeding this beast of negative thinking? Okay, and it might be, that you might not realize at the time that these people are, or these people, place, or thing is kind of feeding all of this stuff. This is why it's important, like I said at the beginning, the first one is about pausing. Okay, when you give yourself permission to pause, then you can think and reflect on, okay, well, Are there people that are being that are around me that are being really negative? Am I on social media? Am I following too many people on social media that are just sharing things that are just making me feel bad? Are people sharing stuff on social media that make me feel bad about being a black woman? You know, there isn't a day that goes by where I'm not on social media and I see some sort of negative post, some sort of abuse, or some, there's some sort of story, some sort of racist abuse that happens, and it's when you're looking at that all the time, it's going to have an impact on how you feel about yourself. It's going to have an impact on how you show up. It's going to have an impact on your relationships, because that is negative nourishment. That is negative nourishment. And like you say, Yashina, people might not be doing it consciously, okay, but it's not healthy. So it's really thinking about, who are the people that are around you at the moment. Are they being, are they being negative? Not, intentionally, but are they having some type of impact on you? This impacting the way that you feel about yourself. Think about that. Places that you go, are the places that you're going that just stress you out, that are causing, that are making you feel badly about who you are, that are not. That's not to say that that you're going to minimize other people's experiences, but at the end of the day, if your brain is flushed with negative thinking that is ongoing, that's making you feel bad about yourself, it's time for you to review and think about actually what's going on. It's time for you to really think about that and put those boundaries in place. Okay, you don't always have to. It doesn't always have to be about the other person. It's about, okay, well, what do you need? And right now, you might not need to be around certain people, places, or things, because it's impacting your negativity. Okay, nourishment is not just about what you put in your body; it's also what you put in your mind. Okay, let me say that again. Nourishment is not just what you put in your body to keep your body healthy. It's not just about what you eat. It's not just about what you eat and drink. It's also about what you feed your brain. So it's about going on to certain things. Or maybe you go into your social media and you start, maybe changing up the hashtags and stuff that you're looking at. Maybe unfollowing certain type of people. If they're always posting stuff that's about drama and chaos and black pain and all the rest of it, that's not serving you. It's not helping you. Mix it up a little. It's not that you don't want to be informed. It's not that you don't want to know what's going on in the world. Yes, you want to know what's going on in the world, but also you need to remember that sometimes you just want to hear some joy. Sometimes you need peace. And if social media becomes that place where you're always being fed negative stuff, it is going to have an impact on you. So having boundaries around that, and changing up who you listen to on social media, is really, really important that you do that for your own sense of well-being, and you'll feel better for it. Okay, you'll definitely feel better for it. So the fifth and last thing, or the last way to get out of negative thinking, is to plan some rewards. Okay, plan some rewards, and what I mean by that is, plan some things in your calendar that you've got to look forward to. What are you doing this week that you've got to look forward to? If you're always looking at the news and looking at negative stuff, life's gonna feel shit. Life's going to feel pretty shit if you're always looking at the news. I mean, I don't always look at the news. I don't watch the news. I try not to, but I do tend to, obviously I've got social media accounts, hence why I'm doing this. But I try not to look at it all the time, because it can be hard sometimes. It can be really, really hard. So yeah, celebrate yourself. Absolutely. It's about you thinking about, okay, well, and be intentional about it. One of the things that I do when I plan my week is thinking about, okay, what am I going to be doing for myself this week? That's going to feel nice. What have I got to look forward to? What am I going to be doing with my daughter this week? That's something that we can both look forward to. Otherwise, things, if you don't do it intentionally, it's easy for days, weeks, months to go past, and you don't do a lot of stuff that's nice. Me and my daughter and I just came back from a camping trip. We went away for 5 days. We went to an African storytelling festival, and you know what? It was just so, just going back to what I was saying before about the, being out in nature and stuff. It was just really beautiful for me and her just to be out in the trees, get away from the technical stuff, get away from social media, get away from, all of the to-do lists that you have to do at home and all that stuff. Just get away from all of that, and it's just, it's just me, a whole heap of other black people in the trees, in the woods, under the stars, just connecting, reasoning, sharing, yeah, just intense, we just totally roughing it, intense and stuff like that. And for me, it was a really nice experience because it gave me an opportunity to really reflect on what's going on for me. How am I getting on in terms of the school holidays, but also where I am, just generally what's going on in my body. And that was really nice to be able to do that. Sometimes it's hard to do that when you're in your daily routine and all of this kind of stuff. So the African Storytelling Festival was in it was in Dorset. It was in Dorset. They're not going to be doing it next year. The woman that runs it, she's planning on doing it in 2 years' time. She's planning to do it in Ghana in 2 years' time. So yeah, she's not going to be doing it next year. But we'll, obviously, I did do. If you go back through my live streams, I did do a live stream on it actually. So if you're more interested in finding out more about it, go back through these live streams. I think that I can't remember when I did the live stream. I think I did it in July. So if you're interested in following up and going on to this camping trip in Ghana, then you can go back through my old live streams and find the old one. It will have all the links and everything there as well. All right, so plan some rewards. What are you going to be doing for yourself this week, today? You can do stuff daily, weekly, monthly. It doesn't have to be big grand things. All right, it can be small things. Today I think I'm gonna have a massage today. Actually, I've not had a massage for a while. I did have one when I was on the camping trip, but I feel like I'm due for another one. Sometimes the old bones get a bit stiff, so it's important for me to have massage. Especially with the pandemic and not always being not we just in the UK we're just coming out of a lot of the lockdown restrictions, so people are just starting to get more out and about and stuff. And so over the course of the year with the lockdown and all that, there's a lot of touch deprivation. There wasn't as many hugs, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to be doing some things this weekend. You're going to be hanging out with some people I haven't seen for a while. But having massage and stuff like that now, I've been having them more since lockdown has been lifted. Has been an important part of me reconnecting to my body, and being touched by other people is really important. Hugs are really important. So that's one of the ways that I really look after my body. So think about that for yourself. What are the things that you need to be doing in terms of how you're going to take care of yourself, how you're going to reward yourself for all of the work and stuff that you do, over the course of the weeks, the months, the years that you've been doing stuff. Okay, it's really, really important. So that's it. Those are the 5 things, okay, that are going to help you when you're stuck in negative thinking. So just to recap, number 1, take a pause. Okay, are you processing too much? Do you need to slow down? Do you need to take smaller steps? Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, review how far you've come. Okay, review how far you've come. Think about all of the work that you've done previously. Doesn't matter how small or how big it is. If you've done some things, you can always get back on it. If it's been a while since you've been done any healing work, you can always jump back on it. And if you go to my website, there's loads of stuff there, loads of free stuff that you can sign up for that will help you. All right, so review how far you've come. Number 3, get out in nature. Get out in the trees. Get out take your shoes off. Go and walk in the grass. Just go out. There's loads of beautiful parks and stuff in London as well. If you live in London, you can go and do that. It's just really good for you. A really simple way of taking care of yourself is getting out in nature. Number 4, boundaries. Set boundaries around the people, places and things, okay, that are feeding that negative thinking. All right. And the last one, plan some rewards. Reward yourself. So if you've been moved by today's live stream and you'd like to find out more about how to work with me, how to join the mastermind, or if you want to work with me in this year-long program that I'm going to be doing that's coming up in January, then click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've got any questions about anything that I've shared today, drop me a DM or you can email me info@yardofgreatness.com. You're so welcome, Yashna. Thank you for joining me live today as well. It's been lovely meeting you. And have a great day, everyone. And I will see you next time. Have a great weekend. All right, take care. Bye-bye.